Hello, hello, everybody. How are you? I hope you're doing amazing. Okay, we are here. I'm just a few minutes early, but I wanted to get started because I've got some juicy stuff that I want to share with you. So welcome to Build a Six-Figure Business for Conscious Coaches and Wellness Professionals. I'm super excited to have you here in the group. And for those of you that don't know or who are just joining us, every Monday, 4 o'clock Eastern time, I go live with a business tip or training or insight that you get to implement so that you can start creating and attracting clients and income into your business. So I'm super excited. For those of you that don't know, I'm Chris Williams. If you are here live, please type in for me #live. If you're watching the replay, #replay. And if you have any questions at any time, just pop them in the chat. And I promise I will circle back around, read them, answer them. I want to make sure that you are taking away tons of value in each of these trainings. I'm totally committed to that. And I want to make sure that if any questions pop up in the meantime, that you can get those answered too. So here's what I want to chat with you today. So often, we are having to make decisions in our business, right? We either have to make decisions on directions to take, on investments that we make, on people to hire, on things to create or not create, on clients to bring on, not bring on. Like there are so many decisions that we have to make as entrepreneurs. And I really want to share with you some of the tips and techniques that I use to make an empowered decision. I call this making informed and empowered decision. And it's really, really important because if we let fear make the decision for us, then we are actually limiting ourselves and we are actually putting the kibosh on abundance. And so I really want to just kind of share with you the ways that I make decisions in my business. And sometimes that has to do with making investments. Sometimes it's not about money at all. Sometimes it's about a direction that I want to take in my business, whether I want to offer something, whether I want to create something. And so this is where we get to kind of dive into that. By the way, if you want my notes for this, I have a whole list of 10 empowered questions to ask yourself to make an informed and empowered decision. Just go ahead and type in show notes in the chat and I will send them your way in Messenger. It's PDF, I'll just pop it your way, no problem. So the first place that I want you to start with any decision that you're making, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter if you're investing in income or investing in in business support or making a decision, is first we get to come from our heart. Right? And remember, our heart is so much more magnetic energetically than our brain. But if we're only making the decision logically, then what ends up happening is that we miss a lot of information and divine downloads that are going to directly guide us and help us tap into that intuitive sense, because our brain tends to lead from the emotional part of our brain that is wanting to keep us safe, right? And yes, we absolutely logically get to work with our logic, but we don't want to let fear lead. So the first thing that we want to do is just come to our heart, take a couple deep breaths, just ground into your heart space. And first of all, ask yourself, is this something that I want? Is this something that I want? Let's take the money off the table if this is about a business investment. And look, I make lots and lots of scary big decisions in my business that have to do around money. And the first thing that I do is I take money off the table. I know that sounds counterintuitive. I do. I swear I know, I get it. It's scary to do that. But in order for you to make an empowered decision, we can't let just the money lead. It's something that we will factor in for sure, but we can't let that lead. So I take money off the table and I ask myself, is this something that I want? Is this a heart yes for me? Do I feel that creating the thing, making the offer, inviting the client to work with me, investing in support is going to put me closer to my goal or away from my goal? Is it going to help me move forward in my business? Is it going to feel supportive for me or not? And so you get to ask yourself there, is it going to take you closer to what it is that you desire or not? If the answer is not, decision is made, done. We don't even go forward. Okay. Then, is this something that I want to do, right? So not only is it going to help us go closer to our business, but is this something that I really want? Do I even resonate with the person? Do I resonate with the method? Do I feel aligned with the system? And if the answer is no, you don't need to go any further. Done. Decisions made, right? So notice how we're not making the decision from logical, do I have the money in the bank account or not? We're making the decision first from our heart space. So if any of the answers to those first two questions, is it going to propel me forward towards my goal? If the answer is no, then the answer is no, and that's it. You don't go further. Is it something that you absolutely want? Do you resonate with the person? Do you resonate with the system? Do you resonate with the offer, right? So we're not talking about the how yet. We're talking about we get to resonate first with the information and the method that we are looking at either creating or inviting or investing in. And if it feels like a yes, then we'll continue. If it feels like a no, we don't continue, and that's it. The decision is made. Okay, awesome. So if the answer is yes to those next things, then we get to ask ourselves a couple things. And that is, and I'm going to take you through some of these questions. What would I have to believe about myself to create the outcome that I desire? What would I have to believe about myself to create the outcome I desire? So for example, I'm making a big investment in a marketing team that's going to kind of help me put some back-end pieces together. And what would I have to believe about myself to create the outcome or the income that I need to support my business in this? Well, I would need to believe that I'm 100% capable, that I'm creative, that I've got plenty of things in my awareness that I can pull together, even if I don't know how. But I have to believe first that I trust myself to figure it out, or I trust myself to come up with whatever it is that I need. Okay. The other thing that I want to share here is that if it's about money specifically, and I know that many of us are, in the position where maybe we're not seeing cash flow in our business quick enough, right? Okay, that's totally okay. So here's what I want you to do, and this is what I do too. For example, if I'm like, you know what, I am a heck yes for this. I resonate with this person. I know they're going to help me. I know it's going to propel me further along in my business. And guess what? I don't have that much money in my bank account, but I know I'm a yes for this, but I don't have the money in my bank account, right? Is there any of us feeling that way, right? Like we're like, I know I'm a yes for this, but it's not there. Okay, so here's what I do is I'm like, okay, let's get really clear. How much money would I really need to come up with in just the next month, in the next 30 days, or is there a down payment, right? So I'm like, okay, what does this look like? And let me make an informed choice, okay? Not from fear, but from an informed choice. I'm already yes, I want it. I'm clear about it. It's going to help me. Now let me get some numbers down. Let me make an informed choice. So, all right, what does this look like? What is the amount? So I'm just going to use a round number, $1,000. Okay. So if I need to create $1,000 and it's not in my bank account, then I am going to take a look at how I'm going to ask myself, how can I create it? I already know I'm a yes for having the thing. So now I get to trust myself. All right, how am I going to create it? And one of the best exercises that I love to use is I write down 50 different ways that I can create money. It's something that I've learned from my coach, Sarah, and she's learned from her coach, Fabienne Fredrickson. And it is one of the best ways to get out of the scarcity of looking at our bank account and that we don't have enough, and into an empowered action place where we get to create what it is that we need if we're a yes for it. Okay, remember, this is only if we're a yes for it, only if we're aligned, only if we see that it's going to propel us forward. Then we're like, all right, how am I going to create this? What am I going to do? Logistically, realistically, what does that look like? How much would I need to create? Okay, $1,000. Amazing. How am I going to do that? What do I have in my world right now that I could repurpose? Or is there an offer that I could put together that I could share with somebody who's already in my warm market? This is actually something that I like to call cash on demand. It's something that I share inside of the Cash Flow Accelerator. So the next time we run that, definitely come join us. It's where I teach you how to create $2,000 to $10,000 in 30 days or less. But this is part of the exercise that we go, what are 50 ways that I can create money? even if it sounds ridiculous, like cleaning houses or teaching knitting classes. By the way, I used to do that for my homeschool group, but write it all down. Why is this important? Even if it's something that you're not going to action, what it does is it gets you thinking creatively. It gets you in abundance. So write them all down. Then take a look at all of them. Once you get all 50 down, take a look at ones that you would want to do, right? Like, I really don't want to go clean houses. So while I could do that, probably not going to decide to action that. All right. But what I might do is come up with an offer for people who are in my world, and maybe it would look something like a VIP day, an experience where I could take a look at people who have either already worked with me or are working with me now, and maybe they just need some extra support. This is actually something that I absolutely did. I created a half-day VIP day experience. And I said, you know what, I've got some clients here that want some extra love and attention. And so I just invited them into this half-day VIP experience. And I was able to meet with them in person, take them out to lunch, strategize with them, get them really dialed in on what it is that they wanted to do. And it was so much fun. So again, take a look at what your ideas are, and are they fun? Is it something that you would actually look forward to? If it's not something that you would actually look forward to do, don't do it. Like, off the list, because you're never going to offer it. So it needs to be something that you're excited about. Okay. Now I'm going to give you some other ideas on what this could look like. For those of you that are already coaching with clients, you can take a look at what are some things that maybe you could bundle together. Maybe you've already done some trainings. Like, I'd have a lot of Facebook Live trainings here in this group. You can go to the guide section, you can download them all. And I also have many things that I've done that have been paid offers. So Cash Flow Accelerator, the Soul of Your Brand, so that you can understand pull marketing, what is going to attract clients to you. We have the Launch Well Live course. So I could bundle things together and put things together. So I'm looking at what's already in my wheelhouse that I could create or I could put together, that I could then put a price tag on and then sell to my warm audience. So remember, anytime we're talking about creating cash on demand, we're looking at people that are already in our warm audience. This is not about taking somebody who's a stranger and trying to convince them or persuade them or turn right into a buyer. There's no nurturing there. It's not going to work. It's going to feel icky. It's going to feel salesy and slimy. So we don't need to do that. We're taking a look at who's in our house right now, right? Or who can help us? Who could help us, right? That's another question that we get to ask ourselves is, I have this offer. Who could help me get it in front of people? Okay. So 50 ways, pick a couple of them, and then pick your top 5 and then decide on one. And then you can go all in on that one for the next 30 days. So this is one of the ways that we can make an empowered decision once we're already a yes, and then we need to come up with the money for it. Now, there's some places that we're going to get stuck. There's some places that our critter brain is going to tell us that are actually not true, that keeps us from moving forward. And so I want to talk about those for just a minute, because they actually keep us from creating what it is that we want. And that is, when you take a look at, the investment or the deposit that you need, write that down, write all of your 50 ways, and then take a look at logistically, how many would you need to sell in order to come up with that? A lot of times it actually is a whole hell of a lot less than you think. As a matter of fact, I just had a conversation with a previous client today. When we really strategized to take a look at what would her easy yes offer would be, she would only need to sell one a month to say yes to what it is that she wanted. And she's like, oh my gosh, only one? Like, I could totally do that. So this is where we're using logic, but we want to use logic in a way so with the information that is going to help us take inspired action, not take action just from this place of fear of missing out, right? A lot of times we do that, right? We don't want fear to guide the decision. And there's 2 ways that fear pops up for us. One is we're afraid to miss out. And so we might make a decision from fear because we're afraid to miss out. I don't want you to do that either. If it doesn't align and feel like a heart yes, it's a no. Okay, so fear of missing out is one obstacle, but also making a decision from fear that I don't trust myself, fear that I can't create what it is that I need, or fear that I don't have enough time, or fear that somebody is not going to agree with my decision. those are fear around money, fear around time, fear about permission. That is also a block. And we don't want to be making decisions from fear that we don't have the money in the bank account, because the truth is we can always create it. Okay. So again, always come back. If it's a heart yes, then we get to figure out how to create it. But typically when money is involved, we have to first say yes to the desire, right? Say, yep, I want it. And then we are worthy enough to either create it or find the resources to support us, or the support to support us in actually having it. So that's where we get to take back our own ownership and our own empowered leadership to making a decision when it's surrounding money. When it comes to time, typically we'll say, oh, I don't have enough time to devote to this, right? And that's really not true, because it's not that we have to create more time. Time is there all the time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. If we think that we don't have enough time, simply what this means is that we are getting a little bit too close to our dreams. We're actually seeing that it could be possible. And we're like, let's put the brakes on. This is getting a little scary. Let me just say you don't have time, right? So we tend to put up walls, or kind of like the smoke screen when it comes to time, because it means that we need to make a change, right? Remember, the part of our brain that wants to keep us safe, wants to keep us feeling loved and a sense of belonging, it doesn't like change. It doesn't like change at all. And so time and money and permission are actually three really easy excuses and limitations that we tend to rely on to keep us from actually following our dreams. So we just want to be onto it, right? And we want to be able to make an empowered decision around it. Now, I am not saying that you have to go out and rob a bank to get the money, or that you have to ignore your family to create more time, or that you have to like just not ever have a conversation with your spouse in order to get agreement. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that we get to decide in our brain first to be the empowered leader, and then decide, all right, what would it look like? What does this really mean around time? Instead of just saying, I don't have time, which is truly a smokescreen, we can ask ourselves, well, what does that mean? Like, how much time would I really need for this? And I've done this myself too. And I'm like, oh, I don't have time to write my book. Oh, I don't have time to create the thing. Really? Do I not have an hour somewhere this week? Actually, I do. It's just that it feels uncomfortable to do the thing. And so I get to be on to myself, or when I'm using the excuse of time, and I get to ask myself, what am I committed to? Am I committed to me moving towards my goal, or am I committed to moving away from my goal? And I'll just share perfectly transparent here around time with me when it comes to working out. I love to ride my Peloton, and quite often I'll say, I don't have time to get a workout in today because I have to do these other things. And sometimes it's the doing of these other things that I'm doing to avoid taking action on the thing that I know that is going to propel me towards my goal. And if I am looking at being more fit, or having the stamina and the cardiovascular strength that I'm going to need when I hike the Alps at the end of the month, then I get to say, is it true, Chris, that you don't have time? Or are you just using that as an excuse to not go for the walk or get on the bike? So again, we get to make an empowered decision around this. Is this even true? And what could it look like instead? Right? Like, what's really true is absolutely I have an hour. Like, I can ride my bike for a little bit. I can go for a walk. I can get outside. I can breathe. It's a matter of choosing how to use my time instead of just giving the power to time. Okay. And the last one I want to talk about is permission. Very, very often we're like, I don't know. I need permission, or I need somebody else to affirm that what I'm doing is the right thing, right? We feel better because we get to share the blame with somebody if it doesn't work out, right? We tend to be like, well, if my friend or my mom or my husband or my accountability partner or my coach or whatever it is says that this is a good idea, then I'll go ahead and take action on it. But that's actually not an empowered choice, because we are relying on somebody else's permission to take action for ourselves. And so we're actually giving our power away to other people. So instead of looking for permission, how about instead we're like, you know what? We believe that this is what I would desire. This is the outcome that I want. This is what I'm a yes for. And instead of seeking permission, how about seeking collaboration, right? So whenever I'm making a decision about something that might have to do with money, for example, we need to replace our deck. I had a conversation with my husband and I said, I think we need to do this because I am in on this decision. I wasn't asking him for permission to necessarily spend the money. I wasn't asking him for permission to get the deck repaired. I was going with a collaborative mindset of, you know what, this is important. I think this is why it's important. I think this is how it's going to better our house, the value of our house, the value of our experience. We don't have to worry about somebody, you know, falling down the stairs because the railing is broken. Like, I came up with the decision first that I wanted it, and then I went to enroll support in my decision. So we still had the conversation, but I wasn't giving away my power asking for permission. I was going to the conversation from a place of, I'm already a yes for it. I knew I wanted the deck, or I knew and by the way, it was expensive to get that replaced. So we had to like decide, you know, where we were going to pull the money from. But if I would have just said, I don't know, should we replace the deck or not? Like, and been all worried about it and just kind of needing, you know, him to say yes in order for us to go through with it, then I would actually have not been making an empowered decision around this for myself. I would have been relying on whether he was okay with it. So are you in a people-pleasing mode and letting somebody else give you the yes or the no that you're looking for? Or are you actually making the decision and then going and inviting people in to support you around that decision? So I hope this was super helpful for you. I want to just kind of circle back around to, let me get back here to my notes of the sheet that we were looking at, or the sheet that I was looking at, and that I am happy to share with you. Here it is, on our questions to ask about empowered choice. So, am I standing in my power trying to please someone else is the last one. And then the other thing that we get to ask ourselves is, what action could I take that would propel me to my goal? What action could I take today that would propel me to my goal? And here's the cool thing. Money loves speed, and we have to take action. When we sit on the fence and do nothing, nothing changes. So I want to invite you to step into your most empowered self. Is there something that you need to let go of as your most empowered self? And what empowered action would you take within the next 24 hours to help you make that decision? And that really is what we get to do. So the antidote, whenever we're stuck in making a decision, is to go through these steps. Am I in alignment with it? Is the number one, is this a heart yes for me? And if so, then we get to go through these questions. What would I have to believe about myself to create the outcome that I desire, right? Tap into, are we making decisions based out of fear of missing out or fear of time, money, and permission? Get really clear on that. So we're taking our ownership back. And then we get to ask ourselves, what action do I get to take within the next 24 hours? Whatever that is, the antidote is action. As long as you're taking action, you're moving forward. And so I hope that this has been super helpful for you. Let me know what your aha, your insight, or your takeaway is today. I would love to know. And again, if you want my empowered action questions, happy to pop them over to you. Just pipe in the chat, show notes or notes, and I will pop the PDF over to you in Messenger. All right, my friends, go make empowered actions, not ones based out of fear. We don't let fear rule, because fear always takes us down the road of scarcity. It never takes us into abundance. And I want you to make empowered actions and decisions that align with your heart, that align with your soul, and allow you to do what it is that you're here to do, which is make an impact in the world and help people live happier, healthier lives. Okay, my friend, see ya.